Is it too late to start a real estate career in North Carolina in your 30s, 40s, or even 50s? Y'all, I hear this question every single week, and I tell you what, the answer just might surprise you. Hey, I'm Kelly Allen, Education Director and owner of Cumbie and Trull's School of Real Estate. And over the years, I've helped thousands of adults start real estate careers here in North Carolina. There tend to be three common fears that people consider when they're thinking about getting a real estate license or starting a career in real estate in North Carolina. We're going to break each of the three down in the next few sections. Let's start with number one. Am I really just too old to start a real estate career in North Carolina? The answer is absolutely not. People, I have had students of all age brackets come through my classroom, but one of my favorite stories to tell is pretty personal. It's that of my actual in-laws. In fact, they were my inspiration for starting a new career in real estate. We'll get to that momentarily. But my in-laws started their real estate career in their mid-50s once the children, one of whom is my husband, went off to college. They were in their mid-50s and thought, why not? Let's dive in and see what we can do. Prior to jumping into real estate, my husband's mother, my mother-in-law, was a full-time stay-at-home mom. And when she started her real estate career along with her husband, they absolutely crushed it. People, within a very short amount of time, they were top producers in their town in Tennessee. Eventually, they had a 10% market share. Very lucrative career, second career for the two of them. They stayed in their real estate careers until they turned 80. Another story I like to share about am I too old to start a real estate career in North Carolina? I had a student who was likely retirement age. You know, it's the South, so we don't talk about, what your age actually is. That would be impolite. But I would say she was retirement age, and she came to class, took it very seriously, was ready to go, probably had not been in a classroom for 40 years, probably had not cracked a book in that same amount of time. And in fact, actually, when she took the licensing class that you have to take in order to get a real estate license in North Carolina, the midterm that she took, it was terrible. I'm not going to lie. It was awful. And frankly, to be transparent, I thought to myself, oh, well, maybe she is too old to start a real estate career. Maybe we're not going to learn some new tricks here. No, I was wrong. She proved me. Now, I didn't say that out loud, of course. She proved me so wrong, y'all. Something in her, it was like a light switch turned on, and she took that terrible midterm grade and said, not today. That's not going to be my legacy. And she doubled down, if not tripled down on her studying efforts. She got herself a study partner. And she came through that final exam with a score in the high 80s. I was so impressed. And she's gone on to have a very robust real estate career since passing that exam and getting her real estate license. There are a lot of advantages to being mature as you age into, shall we say, a new career in real estate here in North Carolina. People tend to really trust agents who are in a certain demographic, maybe in their 40s, in their 50s and 60s. They know that we're coming to the table with a lot of life experience. We're bringing to the table all of our previous career experiences, and those really add to what we can bring to the table. In fact, just the other day in class, I met a former police officer, and we were talking about negotiation skills in a continuing education class. And y'all, she could have taught my class. She knew so many of the negotiation skills I was presenting to this group because she had learned those in her career, her former career as a law enforcement officer. So your lived experience really brings so much to the table. Never discount that. You're never too old to start a real estate career here in North Carolina. The second fear I hear oftentimes is, am I tech savvy enough? Can I really learn all of this social media and all of this software that I need to do to launch my real estate career? The answer is you're going to learn what you need to learn as you go along. Scout's honor. You do not have to be a tech wizard. You do not have to be a tech genius. In fact, my son recently obtained his North Carolina real estate license. He is Gen Z. He's a young little guy. He should know his way around, or we would think, right? People who are my age would think that he would know his way all around all kinds of software and pick it up, lickety split, no problem. He'd have no issue. Every software is different. So as he launched his career and joined a brokerage company, or now we just say brokerage, just so you know, just brokerage. Once he joined a brokerage, he had to learn new software, and even he was slightly challenged. So don't beat yourself up about what tech you know, what tech you don't know. There are tons of people out in your brokerage that are going to help you learn what you need to learn to be successful. Now, in terms of technology in the licensing class, which of course you have to come through a licensing class and pass it in order to get a real estate license in North Carolina, we do use what's called a learning management system, but don't you worry. We are going to hold your hand and make sure that you've got that set up and you are ready to launch day one, and give you advice on how to organize your materials and what technology you need to have. We're here to help you every step of the way. We've got a great staff that's here to support your onboarding as you get accustomed to the licensing materials. So again, you're going to learn what you need to learn as you need to learn it. It's very much a learn by doing. You don't need to know everything today. You're not going to learn all tech all at once. That would be wild. You're going to learn what you need to learn. And you know what? Don't we all have a Gen Z somewhere in our lives that we can kind of tap their shoulder and say, hey, do you happen to know how to do this? They're going to help you. They might roll their eyes, but they're going to help us figure it out. Don't let tech stop you from what could be just an absolutely amazing and rewarding career in real estate. It is so much fun. I would hate for you to miss out just because of technology. You've got this. You can do it. The third fear I often hear when it comes to starting a real estate career in North Carolina is, can I really make money at real estate in North Carolina? The answer is yeah, absolutely. The beautiful thing about a real estate career is the sky's the limit, really. You can make as much money as you desire, or you could cap it. You could decide, hey, I only want to work part-time while I'm in my 50s, 60s, and 70s. You may only want to work part-time. You may want to keep your current career and work real estate on the side. That's absolutely doable in this field. So it's an expandable and retractable career. A couple of stories for you. I once did a transaction with a gal who was a middle school teacher. And I remember thinking, because I was a teacher prior to real estate, I remember thinking, wow, how does she do that? I don't know. But she does, and she did. So she worked, her clients knew that she taught middle school until 3 o'clock. She was unavailable. And when you're an educator, you are unavailable during work hours. She's unavailable until 3 o'clock, and she somehow was able to help her buyers and sellers starting at 3 p.m. until whenever she decided to turn off her phone, and on the weekends. And she made that work. And she was one of the best brokers I ever completed a transaction with. So kudos to her. So she was making money, and she was making money part-time. Another story is I knew a good friend of mine at my first brokerage where I started my real estate career, and he had jumped ship from being an accountant and came over from being an accountant and just jumped into it full time. We said, whoa. Well, it took him a minute. He had to have some reserves. It took him a minute, and everyone kind of works at their own pace. It took him a minute, but once he never quit, first of all, and he stuck with his training program. And once he started getting some momentum, once he started getting some traction, it was like the snowball effect. And y'all, his career absolutely took off like a rocket. And from that point on, once he really got traction, once he got that momentum, he started working with sellers and helping list properties, working on behalf of sellers. He would maybe list 20 properties a month regularly. What? Who does that? So again, the sky's the limit. He wanted to work that diligently. He wanted to have that type of financial success, and that worked for him beautifully. Another person who was at that same brokerage, she was in her retirement years, and was it quarterly maybe, or maybe it was annually, but every so often we would meet with our broker in charge and talk about our goals for the particular year. And I remember that she went in to speak with him and said, listen, she was from New York. Okay, so we have to channel that energy. She said, listen, I know you, broker in charge, which is like a manager, by the way, of a brokerage. I know you, broker in charge, want me to be out here hustling all day and pulling in all kinds of transactions. I'm just not going to do it. That's what she said. I'm just not going to do it. She was like, I am retired. I'm going to work at my own pace. I'm going to do a handful of transactions a year, whether you like it or not. That's the pace in which I want to work, period. End of story. He said, copy that. And off she went. So you, again, with a career in real estate, you are the driver. You are in control of your destiny. You decide how big you want your business to be or how small you want your business to be. Can you work part-time? Absolutely. Can you work a referral business? Absolutely. Can you make money working a referral business? 1,000%. 1,000%. And it's some of the easiest money you would ever believe you could make in a million years. Let me tell you about it. If you choose to work a referral business, that means you're connecting buyers and sellers with real estate brokers. So let's say that you have a career in the service industry. One of my former students owns a coffee shop. Actually, let's use her as an example. She owns a coffee shop, and she has got the biggest, most positive, bubbly personality you could ever imagine. She meets 1 million people a day, right? And she loves real estate. She's constantly on the computer looking at this house, that house, what's coming on, what's for sale, yada, yada. Well, she meets people every day where she could connect folks she meets in her coffee shop with real estate agents and earn what's called a referral fee. A referral fee is a negotiated percentage, typically, can be a flat fee, but a referral fee is typically a percentage of the sale price on either the buyer side or the seller side. And it could be a few $1,000s just for sharing contact information. That's it. It's that simple. Can you imagine? In fact, I learned from an instructor friend of mine in Raleigh that one of his inspirations in the real estate business retired from the business after 30 years, but decided to keep a referral business going where she's connecting buyers and sellers with real estate agents. Y'all, she's pulling in $90,000 a year just connecting people. So yes, you definitely can make money in real estate as much as you desire or as little as you desire. It's all up to you. If you don't mind, I would love to share my story with you, how I got into real estate and what a difference it made in my world and for my family. I came to the industry via a long career in education. For about 10 years, I was an elementary school teacher, and I taught kindergarten through second or third grade, and I absolutely loved it. Oh, poured my heart and soul into it. Loved that career, loved the children, loved the whole Loved the whole career, period. Well, when my daughter was born, I had the notion that I would be a stay-at-home mom. So I put that teaching career aside and I poured all of my energy into being at home with my daughter, which was fabulous. It was absolutely fabulous. After a year, however, I desired that we would move the family from Portland, Oregon, back to be by grandparents. Frankly, I needed some help. Yeah, I did. Or I wanted some help, let's put it that way. And they wanted to see their grandbaby. You know they did. So I convinced Greg to move across the country back to the South. And he wasn't real keen on doing that. We had a big group of friends out there and we had tons of fun. And we were skiing, we were hiking, we were camping, we were doing all the things. We had our friends over for barbecues every weekend. I mean, we had a big social life out there. So getting him to move or convincing him to move back east was not easy. So I cut him a deal and I said, if you move, I'll go to work full time, and you can be the primary parent. You can be the stay-at-home dad. So he was like, okay, that sounds like a great deal. Well, originally, his parents, to kind of lure us back east, his parents, who I told you had a 10% market share in real estate, they said, hey, why don't y'all come back east and take over our real estate business? So the plan was to move back to his hometown in Little Tennessee, in a little town in Tennessee, and take over his parents' real estate career. As we got closer and closer to doing that, Greg said, I just can't do it, Kel. I said, well, really where we want to move is to Asheville. So let's just jump ship and go over there. And I'll get my real estate license in North Carolina and start my career at that point, knowing nobody. What did I know? I thought, well, if his parents can do it, so could I. How hard can it be? Isn't that cute? How hard can it be? Can't be that hard. Okay, so I come on over here, and Greg is the primary parent, and I am studying for my licensing exam. I'm going through it. I'm studying, and somehow I pass on the first try, which is a miracle, and launch my real estate career. Y'all, once I found my brokerage, once I found my spectacular mentor, you know who you are, and my mentor connected me with her fabulous coach, and you know who you are, because now you're helping my son, and I followed the program, I followed my training as I'm supposed to, and Greg was helping hold down the fort at the house. Y'all, I was able to list 38 houses my first year and close 32 transactions. I'll take some snaps for that. You know why? Because in today's money, that's about $350,000 in today's money. Let that sink in. My annual salary as an educator was $30,000. I went from making $30,000 as an elementary school teacher to making $350,000 a year in today's money. And that was my first year. My first year. When I tell you it's life-changing, that's no joke. It was life-changing on so many different levels besides the money. It was life-changing in terms of taking back control, being like I was in the driver's seat, that I could control where we were going, our financial well-being. Not only that, it built so much confidence in what I could achieve. I had no idea that I had that in me at all. And then we were able to do so many more things. We could go on vacations. We could go on dates. Are you kidding me? Real estate changed my life on so many different levels, not only financially, but mentally. And I just wish that upon all of my students that come through my class, that they experience something, that transformation, that's something similar to that, where they really get that sense that, hey, I can do something challenging. I can change things up and make it happen. I can be successful in real estate, whatever success means to each individual. So if any of this resonates with you, if you're hearing any of this and you think, wow, that sounds like something I might consider, you may want to go ahead and check out our class schedule. The link to the class schedule is down below. Check that out and know that it's never too late. If it's something that you've been thinking about for a while, getting a license in real estate in North Carolina, if it's something that you've wanted to check off your bucket list and say, I wonder if I'd be good at that, or am I just too old? No, you are not. So come on, check it out. Come see me. Let's get that real estate career going.